Hello, Eisters. We are back for yet another Payday 3 live update stream. My name is Almir. I am one of the devs here at the studio. I'm getting mixed messages here from chat. Botbot is saying, Almir, I hate you, and Leof Siga says, Almir, I love you. But I guess that's how it goes. Anyway, with me today, Andreas is not with us today, the lead producer of the game. Instead, we have Miodrag with us. You want to say a few words, Mio?
Hello, I'm Miodrag Kovacevic, also known as Mio. I'm Senior Game Designer here at Starbreeze. Hello. I've been involved in the project since the early stages. I've worked on AI, enemy combat, difficulty, the skill design, and I've also been involved in the early stages of stealth design and progression design.
There we go. So, with Mio here today, Heisters, we'll be able to focus on more questions related to the game itself, the game design, progression, and so on. We're going to allow Mio an opportunity to touch on those subjects. Just before we get into it, the purpose of this stream is obviously we did not have a good launch. You are very aware of it, so are we too. Many of you have been unable to play Payday 3 as we intended, which we can only apologize for. I think I speak for both Mio and myself when I say that we were very disheartened to see the launch go the way it did. However, we are working on resolving those issues. We earlier last night said in a tweet, in order to improve server and matchmaking stability, we will make upgrades to the environment ahead of this weekend. In order to perform these upgrades, the service will be offline between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. CST, Tuesday and Friday. And the first upgrade happened this morning. And maybe you are experiencing a positive effect of that if you've been trying to play today. And the last upgrade is going to happen on Friday as we prepare for the weekend. Hopefully, this will resolve all of the existing server issues, but we cannot confirm that as of now. So, yesterday we spoke a lot about the server, the matchmaking issues. Andreas was here. He spoke on a few different topics, and he also mentioned that we are going to add a new skill to one of the skill lines called Transporter. Mio can touch on what that means, but I just wanted to say that it's coming out in the end of October, what it looks like. But Mio, do you want to remind chat what is the skill Transporter?
Yes, so I saw some messages that I was a bit too quiet, so I'll try and speak up. Sorry about that. Yeah, Transporter is a skill line about carrying bags and bodies more efficiently. So the main draw is you will be able to carry two bags at once. You'll also be able to carry two deployables as well, with a slight penalty. And you'll be able to carry bodies more efficiently and forego some movement penalties. So we are hoping it helps you move bags faster and finish those heists more effectively, and also hide accidental guard kills a bit quicker.
Thank you, Mio. All right, you heard it, Heisters. So feel free to ask questions in chat. I saw some comments online that we're only taking questions from Twitch chat. No, we're going through YouTube and Twitch as well. We love you guys, but hate how the launch of our favorite game went. You and us both, Lucy Fugos TV. I mean, we wanted you to have a proper experience from the get-go, obviously. That did not happen, and we are doing our best to resolve the situation. Kalekos says, Hey Almir and Mio, I just wanted to say that I appreciate these streams and the information brought out. Most other game companies would just be silent and ignore the negative response when something goes wrong. So thank you for these streams. I think that just goes to show how we behave as a studio. Like, we are gamers, both of us, Mio and I. We love playing games and hate when they don't work as much as you do. So I think us sitting here trying our best to own up the situation, informing you all what's going on, I think that's the least we can do. But we, of course, appreciate your kind words. Any Twitch drops for Payday 3? There will be, but not as of now. Something about skills and level up, says Iron Smo. Do you want to expand on that? Do you have anything to say on those topics?
Yeah, sure. I think it's just better to address something that I know a lot of people have been asking in general, which is the progression system. Just before I go into that, I want to kind of explain how we evaluate feedback on existing and future features, just so people understand where we are coming from. So we have three sources of information when we make a decision. We have the community, so that's people online, here in Twitch chat, on the forums, Reddit, streamers, everybody. We have analytics, which is our backend, which shows us various stats and statistics, how long people have been playing, which level they are, how many kills they get with specific weapons, how often they complete a heist, and so on. And then the third aspect is like our internal expertise, like what do we know about the game, where do we want to take the game, what do we think is a good fit for it. So we combine all three of those. And the reason we combine all three of those instead of just listening to one is, if we listen to just what we think is the best decision, then that's not a game for others. We're making a game for ourselves, and we don't want that. We're making a game for the players. And then if we just listen to analytics, that's just numbers without context. You can't make a good decision. And if we listen only to community feedback, then we're exposed to the loudest voices. So all of that is a risk. So we have to take all three into consideration before we make big decisions. Now, as far as the progression goes, so we currently have the challenge-based progression system where you have to complete challenges to get infamy points. You still get experience from completing. Oh, you want it closer?
Yeah, but if you can't taste Elmer's breath.
Okay, so we have the challenge system right now. Basically, that the challenges, like doing specific things, is what gives you infamy points, and that's what affects your progression. And they favor you trying out as many different aspects of the game as possible: play styles, weapons, gear, heists, and so on, and different difficulties. Um, and We've seen a lot of feedback that people are getting stuck on certain levels or having trouble playing in certain play styles, and they're having trouble advancing. So the first thing we want to do is we want to clean up some things that aren't working as we intended. So we've had technical issues with the servers, as is evident, but that has also been affecting challenge completion. So we want that sorted out first. And we also want to clear up some messaging with the challenges, make it easier for you all to actually, find the challenges you want, be guided, like which challenge is good to complete next, just clear up which challenge you've progressed when you completed a heist. And once we have those things sorted, then we will see how people feel about the challenge system, and we'll look at our stats to see what they say, like what is the completion rate, do people stop completing at a certain point, do people have more trouble with certain levels or not, and then we're going to evaluate it again. That includes, when we say evaluate, that can include anything. It can include adding more challenges for easier ways to progress. It can also include, I've seen the suggestion about getting infamy points just by heist completion. We would consider that as well. It's not out of the question, but we want to make an informed decision, because if we make a knee-jerk reaction and we react too quickly, it could have a negative impact on the game long term. So we understand where the frustration is coming from. We are evaluating. We're not saying no to any particular solution, but we want to start with, yes, we know that there's a problem. We're going to identify a solution, and it might be the solution people are recommending, but it might be something else. I can't say at this point because we have to get to that spot first. One thing I will admit, current challenges do favor loud gameplay over stealth. I don't think we have delivered as many stealth challenges as we want. We do want players to experience as much of the game as possible. That means changing up your play style. But even with that, we might be under-delivering on the amount of stealth challenges we have, so we will investigate that and give stealth players more things to chew on and progress with them.
Stealth has been a reoccurring question, so thanks for addressing that as well, Mio. Just want to read up. I see a lot of comments regarding offline mode. We said yesterday that because of the poor launch with the server's instability, everything is up on the table. We have not confirmed an offline mode yet, but everything is something. Everything is on the table. We're evaluating every possible option for us going forward. I'm seeing Lulu Lefilou saying, "Hey guys, just wanted you to know that the game is amazing and I hope the team is okay despite this horrible situation. Love to you all." Thank you so much for saying that. I'm also seeing a comment here from Wild William saying, "My favorite game of all time. Can't wait for it to grow. Any plans to fix controller play? Dead zone aim assist. I know I'm not this bad at aiming normally." I'm gonna assume you're playing on a PlayStation 5, Wild William. We do have a fix coming up for you regarding aim assist not working as intended there. All right, I'm gonna see if I can find more questions here. Scrolling way down. I like the shirt, says Kraken Team. I'm assuming they're talking about your shirt, Mio. Code 66 says, just joined the stream. I know you've probably been asked this a lot, but are there any plans of adding an offline mode later on down the line of the game's life? Yeah, I just answered that. Given the poor state of the launch, every option is on the table currently. However, we haven't confirmed an offline mode as of now. Bob Sucker 12 says, hopefully Almir doesn't get bullied into adding something again, like a comically large utensil, you mean? Let's see. So let's see if you can answer this, Miodrag. My main gripe with the challenge system is that the challenges seem to be thrown through the pages randomly. I would love if you could have all the challenges for a certain heist appear next to each other on the other page.
Yeah, so this is more of a UI design question. I'm not on UI, I'm on game design, but to just answer it, yes, we think that the challenge book needs more love and more quality of life to make you all able to actually find the challenges you can complete easily. So, yes, that is one of our priorities, but I don't know the timeline exactly. Sorry.
Thank you for that reply, Mu. Let's see if we can find any more questions here. This is kind of between the UI and design, but I'm gonna read it up and let you have a go at it. Can we get more stats following the mission to include how many enemies you've killed with what weapons and headshots, how many times you've revived someone, etc., to compare with friends?
So we have identified that the result screen is not as satisfying as it should be. That is also part of the challenge completion, where people do not see that they have progressed challenges. Right now you only see that you have completed the challenge, but not that you've progressed challenges that aren't completed yet. So to tie that into the question about stats, that would be part of us just improving the results screen further. I do know we have flagged for that. I've talked about that with Andres, but I do not know what the timeline is to improving it. It is something that we would like to improve.
Cool. Thank you, Mio. Let's see if I can find some more questions here.
I can take that one.
Which one?
The Turret 104K.
Yeah, Mio, what's the current thoughts on changing player health and armor balance?
Yeah, so this is another thing that's been brought up a few times, including during beta. So right now the game favors armor, and we knew launching that the current state of the game is more armor focused. We have identified what the issue there is. We feel that it's because players don't have enough sources of armor. So we have first aid kits that you can get, which are lesser heals, and we have ammo containers and security rooms, which are lesser armor pickups, but we don't have a source of lesser armor repair. So we are looking into that. We have discussed it internally in design, and we hope to fix it. I don't know at which point, but um, we don't think that the issue is with armor being overpowered. Armor is not going to be nerfed, but we will look into ways to make health more valuable. I would just say until then, enjoy the armor meta, but we will, be looking to change it up and rebalance it as with, most aspects of the game.
You want to take this one? Is it possible?
How are specific favors obtained by TMINZ? So right now, when you complete a heist, there is a chance to get a heist-specific favor for another heist. So if you complete No Rest for the Wicked, you can get a heist-specific favor for any heist that's not No Rest for the Wicked. And again, this is going back to the results screen not conveying information, so players feel like they're not getting unique favors, but they actually are, but you won't know until you enter a lobby for that heist. So again, we need to, make sure that when you complete a heist, it's clear, which weapons got experience and leveled up. Like that information is there, but it's not eye-catching enough. We need to make it clear which challenges you've progressed, which favors you've earned, and other stats, like, team accuracy, who got down the most, who killed how many civilians, maybe. So that's stuff that we have to reevaluate with the results screen and improve it.
Cool, thank you, Mio, for that answer. Let's see. Cookie says, stop cherry picking the same two questions. We're trying our best not to, Cookie, but we will definitely try harder. Let's see. Challenges on PlayStation 5 are not registering. That might be a bug in that case, Rikanmel, and something hopefully we'll be able to address in the first patch we are doing. Obviously, challenges should register.
We can talk about that one you pointed at.
Yeah.
I can't see the name because it's black on black.
Malcolm.
Okay, Malcolm. Will melee weapons ever make it into the game? So we didn't. So a lot of people have commented that the quick melee or the weapon butt we have doesn't do damage. That is because that when we do a melee system, we want to do it right. I don't know how many of you have managed to play Overkill's The Walking Dead that had like a melee system with like melee weapons, and it was a step up from Payday 2, and we didn't want to just put Payday 2's melee system in, but also not just Walking Dead's melee system. So we would like to do melee weapons at some point. We can't really say when. It's a very big endeavor, but tell us whether you'd like melee weapons, how much you would like them, and we can prioritize them. But it is a big feature, so if we decide to do it, it's a big decision. But it's also because we want to do it right. We don't just want to slap it on into the game.
You want to take this one too?
Is there the ability to add? Is there the ability to add to the experience gain, especially for stealth? There seems to be a massive incentive to run loud heists to level up. So we have answered that. I'll repeat the answer again. So essentially, we would like to clean up how challenges are displayed to you, and also fix the challenges that are not applying when they should, and then see how people feel about the challenge system after the quality of life and functionality updates. But we have identified that stealth challenges might not be as readily available as they should be. We still want players to play in different styles, but we also think that stealth challenges probably need some more love, so we're looking into what we can do about that.
Thank you, Mio. I see a question here from Carter Dragame saying new weapons and new enemies. I think both Mio and I agree that we will be adding more content in the post-launch of Payday 3. We launched the game last week. We are currently in week 1. Obviously, we're addressing things we did not want to start addressing, which is server instability and some other issues that you heisters have been experiencing. But definitely, new weapons are coming. New enemies we haven't confirmed, but looking at the history of Payday 2, we added a ton of enemies in the post-launch. So who knows what will happen for Payday 3. All right, let's see if we can find some more questions here. Here's a good question from Mio. Do you think there could be an adjustment to the enemy balancing? For example, I feel dozers are too strong and cloakers feel way too random.
Yeah, so I can answer probably this in more detail. So this is one of those things where we are monitoring feedback and we're waiting for more time to pass so we can look at the stats. I have seen comments of people saying that the enemies are fine, and also comments of people saying that the enemies might be overpowered. And the reason we need stats is so we can see things like, sorry, Almir is fiddling with something. But what we need stats is, if somebody is dying to the dozer a lot, is it on normal difficulty? Is it on hard difficulty? Which levels are they? Do they usually fail the heist after the dozer downs them? So those are stats we will look over and how often it happens, and then use that as well to inform us, because maybe the dozer isn't actually that lethal, but people feel like he is, and that's fine. Then it's an intimidation factor, but maybe he's causing problems way too much. So the answer is we're keeping an eye on it, and we're always keeping an eye on it. And there's always the opportunity to rebalance enemies if we think they are overperforming or underperforming. Right now, though, we think they're in a good spot. Even the poor Zapper, people, it seems to be a curse that whenever somebody on the stream complains that the Zapper is too weak, they get hit by a Zapper and need help. So I think we're fine right now, but we are keeping an eye on it always.
Another interesting question for you, Mio, here from Midas Ikbus. Hey, Mio, is there any interest in potentially having boss-like enemies similar to Payday 2?
So how we view boss enemies on the team is it should be something that takes advantage of players knowing the game well and learning the game's mechanics. So some people might call the dozer a boss, but the dozer, at least in my mind, is just a very difficult special enemy. He's not meant to be a boss. And then the FBI van is more of a, little disruptor, not really like a boss. It is a topic we've thought about a lot, and not anytime soon, but we are trying to figure out ways to make a boss in a way that's satisfying. Like, we don't want a boss fight in our game that feels like a chore. We want a boss fight that feels like a fair challenge, in line with the other enemies. So the answer is we're trying to figure it out, but for now we don't think it's necessary.
Thank you, Mio. I'm seeing a question here from Thundersman. Why are there no animations in any of our interactions? How logical is it to tie the hostage hands by just standing still and waiting in our place? So animations like that are some things we consider quality of life improvements, and definitely something the team is evaluating in the post-launch. I've spoken to our animators. They're excited about updating and adding additional animations to Payday 3. So in the future, hopefully, depending on how we prioritize, but you will definitely see additional things be added. Will you ever bring back converting cops to be on your side for Payday 3? Asks P3 Live Now.
So that's in reference to the Joker skill from Payday 2. Right now, no. But whenever I say no, like we've agreed, it's never like we dig our heels in. If people really want it, and if we feel it fits the game, perhaps. But also, this is like a very, we're here for the long haul. I mean, Payday 2 was updated for 10 years. This is also going to be, supported for a very long time. It might be at some point. It's very hard to say, like in a decade span, it'll never happen. But for now, there are no plans for it. So no, but it's not a firm no.
Thank you, Mio. Bully Reese asks, another one for you here, Mio. Will we ever see a return to dodge from Payday 2? I miss running around with akimbo pistols.
So dodge is a bit of a tricky mechanic in Payday 3. In Payday 3, we've balanced the combat to be more attrition based, so it's like death by 1,000 cuts. Unless it's a dozer, then it's far less cuts. But doing like a chance to ignore all damage when you have a lot of sources of little damage can be very swingy and very difficult to balance. So right now we don't have plans for it, uh, but we've kind of moved dodge to the smoke grenade because the smoke grenade does the inverse. The smoke grenade makes the enemies have a lesser chance to hit you. So you can kind of play dodge with smoke grenades, but we know it's a popular request. We kind of want to wait it out as well because we want to see people get used to Payday 3 and Payday 3's mechanics and game pacing because it's different from Payday 2. And once they're used to it, if we all feel like there is a dodge-shaped hole that needs to be filled, we will of course evaluate it. So, no, but that might change in the future.
All right. I see Jake Resco saying, thank you for including such a robust colorblind mode. Any plans to add options to remap keys for UI navigation? I think that's also in the quality of life section, something we're evaluating. We'll see in what priority we act on things in the post-launch. We have to focus on different parts of the game, not one thing at a time, but several things at a time. But I cannot confirm whether or not we will focus on that in the near future. But thank you for asking. Let's see. I will continue to look for questions here. Let's see.
We can take that.
Which one?
That one's the bots.
Go ahead.
So Faminus asks, any plan to improve the bots, maybe a load system like 2 in which we give various bonuses to the player. So please let us know how you feel about crew AI. I know that the general sentiment is that they are more useful on normal and hard, but not as useful on very hard or overkill. So let us know what you think. It is a priority thing, since improving that takes away from other features. So, let us know how you feel. It could be something that's done sooner, or it could be something that's done later. Right now, yeah, there hasn't been too much functionality put into them outside of protecting you, being able to carry bags, and being able to throw deployables. We feel for now that is enough, but again, I don't think the bots were that robust in Payday 2 on launch. I think that was like later added, right, Almir? So answers not right now, but please let us know and we will evaluate it.
Thank you for that, Mia. I'm seeing a question here from Davs VR. Will Jacket return? The Chicken Man is currently unconfirmed for Payday 3. We do not know the whereabouts of Jacket. He is unaccounted for, but who knows what will happen in the future. Let's see. Looking for more questions here. Will we ever get a perk deck-like system, asks Griffin on YouTube?
So with the skill system in Payday 3, we wanted to kind of marry and merge the skill trees from Payday 2 and the perk decks from Payday 2 into one system so that we can update it more frequently. That said, I think after enough time has passed, if we feel we need to add additional, skill systems to vary up the skill lines, like, whether it's in the form of perk decks or in the form of passive bonuses or traits or, whatever you see in other games with RPG elements, it's not off the table, but for now we're focusing on skill lines and expanding them. But down the line, that might change if we feel we need to spice things up.
Thank you. I see a lot of questions now, like will John Wick return? Will Jimmy return? Will Clover be back? I want the Chicken Man, and so on. So the answer for every heister, including Horton, I mean Houston, is that all of them are currently unaccounted for. We have announced that we will add more playable characters to the game, but we haven't said which ones, whether there are new ones or existing heisters within the Payday universe. But we do appreciate you asking. Let's see. I miss Sydney, says Sophia Balderstone. Yeah, I hear ya. Sydney is a really cool heister, the anarchist of the Payday gang, voiced by Georgia van Kulenberg. She did an incredible job, and we'll see if Sydney makes a return for Payday 3. How does it feel to release a game that is unplayable for 4 consecutive days, asks Lithy. Not good is the answer to that. Obviously, all of us have worked for years on Payday 3, wanting it to become the biggest success it possibly can.
4 years here.
So to see us stumble with servers the way we've done these past days is super unfortunate, and obviously we are doing our best in making sure we are up and running as soon as possible. We see this as only the beginning heisters, like Mio was touching on in one of the previous questions. This is a 10-year commitment for us. We want to continue working on Payday 3 for a very, very long time. El Ferjo says, will there be any seasonal content? The Halloween heists were always fun in Payday 2. We'll see. We haven't announced any seasonal content yet, but we do recognize that, of course, the holiday heists, the Halloween stuff, other stuff we've done in the past has been very appreciated by the Payday community. Yeah.
You can ask that the personal devil thing.
So a personal devil asks, are any plans for expanding the uses of C-stacks, like adding a vendor that allows us to purchase a rotating stock of high-specific favors?
Yeah. So right now, C-stacks are used for cosmetics. They're used for additional slots for equipment after a certain point, and they're used for high-end mods, or rather, the final mods you unlock on weapons. We will, of course, look into having more uses for C-stacks down the line, but I think it's more going to be a matter of, does it make sense to use C-stacks here? So as we add new features, we're probably going to see, okay, do we hook up C-stacks to this? Do we hook up in-game cash to this? What do we feel fits better? So the answer is yes, but we're going to try and not shoehorn it in. We're going to make it so, it feels like they have a use.
Thanks, Mio. I think there are like 2 different categories when it comes to possible heisters coming back from Payday. You have the original heisters on one side that we made ourselves, including Sydney, Sangres, and so on. And then you have the collaboration heisters where we worked with a partner like Scarface or Jacket or anyone else. And I saw a question here regarding Scarface, and it's in that case, it's not only up to us. Scarface is owned by another company. We cannot just add Scarface even if we would like to. But we will see. I mean, in the world of Payday, Scarface is currently unaccounted for. We do not know what has happened to him. I saw another question where someone asked, did Houston survive the assassination attempt? And we haven't confirmed that either. Yeah.
Maybe INT?
Yeah. So we've got a first-time chat here from maybe INT. Is it intended that every heist restart uses the same RNG seed? Will this change?
So right now it is intended. The goal of that was to help out players who fail a heist and want to restart it, so that they, have an easier time correcting their mistakes. However, we have seen that veteran players are not particularly fond of that. We want to keep the previous functionality I mentioned, helping out players correct their mistakes, but we are looking into ways to maybe not have fixed RNG on the most challenging difficulties. We are still exploring, the feasibility and timeline of that. So just to, make it more exciting for veteran players, because we feel if you sign up for Overkill, you're kind of ready for most things.
Another one for you?
The Wolf's Eye 110 says, with more skill lines coming to the game, are you thinking about increasing the amount of skill points? So, um, we said in a dev diary that we might increase, the soft cap, which is when you unlock the final skill point, and the hard cap, which is the level cap of the game, after we add more challenges. Um, we don't know when that will be. We also don't know at this point if it is the best course of action, because we've found that people seem to have a well-rounded build around 15 skill points, and then 21 is just like right now the actual max is more um, flexibility and specialization. So we're gonna keep tabs on how people are playing and how they feel about skill points. If we think it's not actually needed to add more skill points, we won't. If we feel it's needed, we will. I think that's kind of like, it's best to play it by ear in this case rather than commit to a potentially bad decision.
Pick a Sandwich says, Almir, I need you to include the Chicken Man. It's important. All right, I'll take note of that. Thank you. Northern Navy is in chat. How are you doing, Northern Navy? You're saying, have you guys noted down a possible search bar for the challenges menu? And I think that is more on UI, Mio. And that's something we're evaluating, Northern Navy, given the fact that there are so many challenges. Search bar would definitely be a positive add for you, heisters. Is there going to be an infamy system added, like we see in Payday 2, I assume? C495 means.
So right now, there is no plan to add a prestige system or Payday 2 style infamy system where you reset your progress after you reach the level cap. Again, it's not something that's a firm no. It's more like until further notice, no. But if we see complaints of people, reaching the level cap and feeling like, oh, I don't have anything interesting to do, then we will explore whether, the interesting thing to do is to actually reset your progress and prestige, or maybe add something else to the game to keep you, engaged in heisting.
Thank you, Mio. Daunting Donut says, I have really been loving Pearl. I think you guys did a great job with her. Thank you. Appreciate it. Aiming is boxy on console. Why? Please answer this, says JMac202. I'm going to assume you're playing on PlayStation. We have had some issues with auto aim functionality there. We're looking to address it in an upcoming patch. Please stay tuned for that.
We can
yeah.
go to the Aurelio one.
So the Aurelio says, why am I forced to do loud? I am a stealth only player and you locked me out of progression completely. Thank you.
So with Payday 3, we kind of wanted the infamy level or your account level to represent how much of the game you have experienced, so that when somebody sees your level, if it's level 80 or level 100, they kind of know that you can adapt to any sort of loadout or playstyle that's needed for the group or any sort of map. So we expect loud players to play stealth at some point and stealth players to play loud. However, as I've said earlier, we do feel that there are not enough stealth challenges even with that in mind. There's probably on the lower side. So we will be looking into adding more challenges for stealth players so they can progress further. But in general, we would like level to represent your knowledge and experience with the various parts and mechanics of the game.
You want to take this one too?
Let's see. It's Weave. Hey guys, the game... You have to remove the icon. There you go. The game has been a ton of fun so far. Any plans to add more difficulty options or mutations for more replayability as people get more skilled at the game? Yes. There are plans... there are plans to add more difficulties down the line. I can't really give an actual timeline on it, but you are absolutely correct. As people get more experience with the game and learn the ins and outs and master all the heists in every style and every form, yes, they will need more of a challenge. And in Payday 2, that worked by adding more difficulties. So we want to do that for Payday 3. I will say, however, I think we are pushing it with how hard or how hard SWAT hit right now on overkill, and we don't want the game to turn into one shot and you're dead. It's very easy to kill players if you want to. So when we add a new difficulty, we want to do it right. So it's not gonna be the same cadence as Payday 2's difficulties. Rather, when we add one, we want it to feel meaningful.
Yeah, I hear you, Mio, fully, and not saying that additional difficulties in Payday 2 weren't meaningful, but I definitely agree that the sentiment Mio is pointing at there is that with Payday 2, what happened was that you ended up just playing one of the difficulties, and suddenly you have like 8 to choose from, and most of them are worthless to you if you have a certain skill level. So I totally agree on that sentiment. I see a comment here. These guys are straight up, gotta respect it, says WST512. Thank you for saying that. What are you as a dev team going to do to make it up to the player base, asks Dr. Affliction. Our best. I mean, there are so many things that we have in store for you all. Obviously, we did not expect the launch to go as poorly as it did when it came to server stability. And it is up to us now to prove our worth to you heisters. We have been in situations in the past where we've had to come back up and show you that we care and that we respect you as players. And I think the same goes for this time around. The Slim Pasty says, love the game and your guys' transparency. Great devs. Thank you so much for saying that. Appreciate you. Velvet Hex says, please notice me, Almir. Hey, Almir Mio, I have a question. Will text chat be added to Xbox in order to communicate to PC players through text? And on that note, I can tell you that we're looking into these features. Right now, the team is fully focused on ensuring stable matchmaking as our number one priority. After we're comfortable with where matchmaking is, we'll evaluate community-requested features such as that. But thank you for asking. All right. Let's see. How are the servers right now in the US East, so I know if I wait to buy or can I buy now? So we're continuously looking to improve the server stability, AFK Viking. We have upgraded the servers once today. We went offline for 4 hours in order to make that happen. We will do the same on Friday to prepare for the weekend. I hope you will see improved stability today and going forward, but we will take it as it comes. Given the past few days, we do not want to announce something prematurely. We want the game to work. We want the servers to be stable, and we're working on that as fast as we possibly can. All right, let's see here. Will Almir's beard be an available mask in Payday 3? I don't think neither me or I can confirm that as of now, but I take that as a compliment, I think. Next says, sending love, there is anger mostly due to frustration from people, but as time passes, most people will see the game for the gem it is. Thank you, Next, for saying that. Really appreciate you. We are going through more questions. What about music, says Bull Reese. I really appreciate the jukebox system of Payday 2, plus we need a 2023 version of Give You My All. So music in Payday 3 is done by our fantastic composer Gustavo Coutinho. He's done an excellent job with the existing soundtrack, I think, for Payday 3. The jukebox functionality for Payday 2 was a post-launch feature that we added in order for heisters to play whatever song they'd like for any specific heist. That's definitely something that we're evaluating for Payday 3. When and if it's going to happen, I think remains to be seen. But I think when it comes to any feature, really, not focusing on a particular feature that you've seen in the past for Payday, that might be something that the design team are considering for Payday 3. The difference being is, and this is something that you and I, Mio, talked about earlier today, it needs to work within the framework of Payday 3. Payday 3 is a new foundation. It is built in a different way than Payday 2 ever was, which means that whatever we want to add needs to rhyme with the existing design. All right, we're going to go through, see if we can Here is a good question from the Kill Cobra to you, Mio. Will there be a primary or secondary explosive weapons like in Payday 2? I know the Mamba Piglet is an overkill weapon that is obtained through the heist, but will the heist be able to go through above and beyond with multiple explosive weapons?
So I'm not on weapons specifically, so this is probably not much I can say that's helpful, but I imagine as the game goes on further, we will be adding, more ways to play with your loadout. So if we add, I wouldn't be surprised, but I really can't comment on when that would be.
This one is for you too.
Now let me see.
What is your favorite heist?
Oh, what is my favorite heist from Payday 3? Um, I usually bounce between Golden Shark and Touch the Sky. I think Golden Shark has a very good stealth to loud pacing, which is when our game shines, where you can do stealth, and then if you go loud, at least you've done some progress. I think that's the best example of that. And then I like Touch the Sky because the stealth is kind of unhinged. It's kind of wild how many things you can do in stealth in such a small space, but the combat also feels very good.
Cool, thank you, Mio. I see a question here from the Lazy Duck asking, what are your current plans around content flow? So on that topic, I can say we previously, before launch even, announced the year 1 roadmap for Payday 3 with 4 different beats, bigger beats that we built the game around. First being syntax error and so on and so forth. You can see this image online. I do not have it on me right now. But in that we say that there will be 4 big beats, and other than that there's going to be new weapons added, more characters added that are playable, and more quality of life features, etc., etc. I see another question here from Emidas, or a statement rather. Please do not remove fixed RNG. It has been a huge quality of life. You want to comment on that?
Yeah, I can comment on that. So like I said, that you're the kind of player we put the fixed RNG in. We are kind of looking into it because this is like the polarizing topic where newer players appreciate the feature, but veteran players don't feel challenged enough. They like the randomness and having a spanner thrown in the works. So there's probably going to be a compromise somewhere. It's not going to be entirely removed, I can tell you that. But like I said, we might explore having no fixed RNG on higher difficulties.
Here's a hot potato from Greg for you, Mio. Please notice me, Almir. Forced challenges feel awful. It's not Call of Duty. Stop forcing me to kill hundreds of enemies to level up. Just let me do heists. Challenges should unlock cosmetics.
Yeah, I mean that's like I said, that's community feedback that we've been aware of. And like I said earlier in the stream, we're looking to first do some first functionality updates so that the challenges are actually completing correctly, and quality of life so that which challenges you're signing up for and not wasting too much time trying to find them. And once we have that, if we feel the community sentiment is still the same and the stats in our backend supported, like they say that people aren't playing well with the challenges, we will evaluate it. I think we have to make an informed decision because it is the progression system. It is a big decision, and obviously the risk there if we add infamy points and heist completion is that we replace one problem with another. Now instead of farming kills with a weapon, you're farming one heist specifically, and that might cause problems down the line when we have quick play with matchmaking, and so on and so forth. So we'd rather try to mostly solve the problem rather than replacing one problem with another. But also, if we look at the stats and analytics, it'll also inform us how many points we should reward players. Like what is a good pacing. So the answer is we want to first make sure it's working correctly so that you all can give better feedback on it, and then if you still feel the same, then we will evaluate how to proceed forward, whether it's the popular suggestions or something else we think addresses the issue.
Thanks, Mio. Greedy Adventurer says, please notice, Almir or Mio, will you add any classic heists? Please answer. I need the answers. We haven't confirmed any classic heists. I think we added classic heists for Payday 2. It is quite possible we do it in Payday 3, but nothing has been confirmed so far. Let's continue here. Will we see the minigun or the flamethrower come back in Payday 3 from the second one? Also, does Mio have any socials we can follow, asks Vinoski. You want to touch on this?
I don't know which one is more riskier. So there will be new overkill weapons. Which ones I can't really comment on or confirm. I will say, in Payday 2, I loved setting cops on fire, so I would love if we had a flamethrower, but that's not up to me. And as far as socials go, I was tagged in the tweet for this stream. I'm on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. It's MDKII, like MDK Roman numerals 2. You can just follow me there. MDK2, a very good game.
Thank you, Mio. Anaconda7 says, hello there, please, for now, I just appreciate an option to mute heist introductions when I'm searching for a game. There's some I even memorized unintentionally, just hearing them in the background.
So I can answer that. I think that's another quality of life feature that you mentioned. But in the meantime, when you pick a heist and a difficulty, you can press escape and go back to the main menu, and matchmaking will still continue. So if you don't want to, get back in the saddle again, you can just press escape and you'll be in the main menu, but you'll still be queued up for what you queued up.
There you heard it. Hudson Bates asks, more overkill weapons. The short answer is yes. Exactly what and when, to be confirmed, but we will be adding more overkill weapons. Any plans of adding reticle customization would be very nice and a welcome feature. I think I can answer that. Like, an obvious quality of life improvement, something we did for Payday 2 in its post-launch as well, allowing you to mix and match and customize that part of the game further. Nothing we've announced so far, but definitely something that is being evaluated. Deadlick7 says, why aren't the servers fixed yet? It's like they work 1 minute and then the next day stop. Yeah, that has been a super unfortunate part of all of this. We spoke on this yesterday in that stream. Earlier in today's stream, the server instability you have all been experiencing. We can only apologize and let you know at the same time that we are working around the clock, ensuring that server stability works as intended. It is our biggest priority. We are working together with our third-party us developers in order to make it happen. So please continue being as patient as you are. We really appreciate you heisters for it. Gandalf Wolf says, important question, where is the toast? Haven't you found any toast in Payday 3 yet? Oh, you want the toast one?
So Creepy Van asks, how about a compromise up to level 100? You gain XP from heists, past 100 is from challenges. So these are the type of suggestions I mentioned that we need to evaluate, and we can't hastily go into them. On paper, it looks like a good idea, but it opens up to a lot of issues like, okay, what if you complete a challenge before you reach level 100, and then you're locked out of it when you reach 100, and you kind of made it harder for yourself. And then we would need to rework which challenges we have. Then we would have to say okay, well, the challenges don't exist until level 100. So every change we make has a lot of, we have to take this into consideration and make these other changes to accommodate it, which is why if we make any adjustments to progression, it has to be deliberate and careful. But yeah, we recognize that it is a problem and we are trying to work out a solution.
Thanks, Mio. Papa Sir Almir, when will the mouse and keyboard issue be fixed? I can only use my keyboard. I want to use MNK. I'm assuming you are on console, Amuda. And on the topic of a mouse and keyboard, we've seen your suggestions and are looking into adding support in the future. We just don't have a time estimate on that for now. Let's see here. I'm seeing Hamzy's FPS saying offline play when, offline play when, offline play when, etc. And we talked about that earlier in this stream and yesterday as well. Since this servers have been not working as intended, we are currently evaluating every possible option for Payday 3 going forward. So we will see what happens. We are not confirming anything as of now, however.
Yep,
Yeah.
The one right below.
Yeah, by Leaf Miyazaki.
Yeah.
Hey guys, can you say why you didn't implement something like the card system from Payday 2? I like getting random masks and materials more than earning standard by XP.
Yeah, so for launch and for the progression on launch, we wanted it to be more or less RNG focused, so that the things you unlock are more just that you know when you're getting them, you know how long it takes to get to them, rather than farming a heist and hoping you get the RNG for a mod or a mask or anything in particular. However, people like surprises. I occasionally buy Kinder Surprise eggs still at the store. So we will look into addressing that part of the player experience down the line, I'm sure.
All right. Thanks, Mia, fellow Kinder Egg enjoyer. The toast in the deposit boxes has to be bigger. That's hardly a snack for us hungry heisters, says the Wrath of Revan. Unreal 41683 says, any chance of setting a random map selector when you pick a difficulty you just want to play on? I think that's also a typical quality of life feature that we are evaluating in the post-launch, and we'll see whichever one we get to first. But thanks for the feedback. Let's see. I've got an update here from J12GC saying, servers have been much better today. Yesterday was my first experience with Payday 3 and it wasn't great. Whatever happened overnight has been a massive improvement. Thank you for sharing that. I hope that is also the case for the rest of the heisters out there. We'll continuously monitor the situation and see. I think it's too early to say that the servers are stable, but really happy to hear you've been having a good time with the game the past 24 hours. Let's see here. Almir in-game voice when, says the Redstone 15. You know I portray several characters in Payday 2. I don't portray any character yet in Payday 3, however, but that might happen in the future. We'll see. Maybe my fellow colleagues have grown tired of my voice, but I appreciate you. Thank you for saying that. Let's see here if we can find any other questions. Let us get in the van, says Sebastian Flowers. Andreas answered that question yesterday. That is something we are looking into. It sounds easier than it actually is to fix, but like Andreas said yesterday, that's something we're evaluating and we'll look into. To make up for the community, we need a Payday Twitterman face reveal, says Jonas McAllister. Oh, that's going to be a tough one. Here's maybe one for you, Mio, from Beluris. Really love the new take on stealth, but I find that guards hearing footsteps in secure areas are a bit too much. Would a perk deck for silent footsteps ever be a thing? Not being able to sprint, jump, crouch, make it ox.
Potentially. It would have to probably be bundled with some other skill. I don't know how much people have deep dived in the skills of Payday 3. You'll probably notice in the CQC line that there are some skills that do two things, like increase speed and also do something, or that for the tactician, some skills affect both flashbang and smoke. So that could be potentially bundled with a skill, because I don't think it's worth a point on its own. But it's a good idea. We just have to find the right time for it.
Thank you, Mio. I see the crew duo on YouTube asking, will there be a vote kick feature? That is a very requested feature. Definitely something we're looking into. Thank you for sharing that comment. Papa Almir Sir, says Muda, can we get some Bane lore? I miss Bane. Shade is so demanding. I'm sorry, Muda. If you played Payday 2, you know what happened to Bane. yeah, it is what it is. John to Demon says, I have found a toast on Road Rage. Excellent news. Let's see. Dank Solo says something here that Mio can touch on. Almir, please acknowledge that there is almost no incentive to complete a heist in Stealth over Loud. No stealth XP, XP bonus, reward money, or anything. You might as well do every heist on Loud for the same rewards.
So this is an example of what I said, that we're not particularly happy with everything in the results screen right now. So for example, there is actually a stealth bonus to both payout and experience for weapons and skills. It's just that we don't tell you that you got the bonus, and people think there isn't any. In fact, it actually scales with how much of the heist you've done in stealth. It's not binary. So if you do half of the heist in stealth, and then the other half in loud, you still get the bonus on the first half. So it is there. It's just that we don't do the best job in telling you that, so it doesn't feel like it's there, and that's something we need to fix.
Thanks, Mio. I see a suggestion here from Lil Deep Fry with the first time chat saying, hi guys, can we get a slide 10,000 meters challenge? Probably, says Mio. Yeah. I'd like that. Maybe I wouldn't like that. But anyway, thank you for your comment. Matthias says, will Viper or Molotov grenades return? I can answer that. Like, when it comes to weapons, we'll see what we add. I think the difference with Payday 2 and Payday 3 is that a minigun, for example, would probably be an overkill weapon in Payday 3, whereas in Payday 2 you could just pick it as a primary and run with it. Let's see here if we can find one final question for today, because that hour flew by. All right, while I see if there's anything else, any parting words, Mio, for today? Obviously, we'd love to have you come back and continue talking about design.
Yep. Yeah, so very few things are set in stone, but what we're trying to do with Payday 3 is make informed decisions. So while I understand that sometimes, you might not like a particular part of the game, we need to consider, all our players, not just, a group of players. And we try to do our best to find out, if that sentiment is prevalent or, actually likely causing issues in the game. And we do that, like I said at the beginning of the stream, by looking at the community, looking at our analytics, and also what we know about the game internally and our plans for the game. So nothing is set in stone. Things can change, but we are trying to be careful with the changes we make so we don't make rash decisions, because this game is meant to last a long time, and if we make a rash decision, undoing that is very difficult, and it might affect, the rest of how the game plays. So please be patient. That's the best I can say, but we will try and do our best to address issues, or at least tell you how we plan to address issues, even if it takes a little bit.
Thanks, Mio, and I think it's super important that you mentioned that. I've seen comments online in the Payday community where people feel like we've set a lot of things in stone, which is the opposite of the truth. We are very open to change things around going forward. Payday 3 is a live ops game. Part of that is to improve the experience, change things up, make it more interesting, and definitely listen to your feedback, like Mio touched on earlier in the stream. All right, gang, I just want to read out that servers have definitely been way better today, guys. Thank you, says Kento FC. That's awesome to hear that they have improved for you, Kento. Hopefully that is true for the rest of the gang in chat, watching us now, chatting with us today as well. I'm sorry to say, gang, the hour is up. I'd just like to say thank you so much to Mio, Mio, for coming in here, making a statement regarding design and answering questions on the topic of design. Really appreciate it, truly. chat, thank you so much for tuning in today and being a part of this discussion. We will be back tomorrow, same time, with Andreas. He will have more information on the upcoming patch, I believe, to share with you all. So make sure to tune in then. And I would just like to end by saying, this is only the beginning, Heisters. We will not give up on Payday 3. We have had a rocky start. We went into custody straight away. We are now out of custody. We are stabilizing the servers. We're making sure that you have the experience you bought into, and we will only continue to improve from here. Thank you so much for believing in us, for supporting us. Thank you for being frank and honest with us. We appreciate that honesty. We understand there is a lot of frustration out there, a lot of anger. We deserve to hear it, but know that we are also working on improving the situation every day, all right? Until tomorrow, Heisters, thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate you. And fala again, Mio. I will see you next time, yeah?
Yep.
Take it easy, Heisters. Until tomorrow. Bye.